What's up, guys? Welcome back. Av here. I just wanted to make a quick video to go over this. A capo, very commonly used when playing guitar, whether acoustic or electric. I'd say more commonly on the acoustic, but you can use it on whatever guitar you want. You could really use it on any instrument, although depending on the instrument, they might have a specific capo design for it. So this one, pronounced capo, some might say capo, but it's the same thing. So this one's kind of built for this acoustic guitar because it fits the neck width just right. So if you're playing a nylon string classical guitar, you might need a little bit of a longer capo because the neck is usually a bit wider. If you don't even know the difference between a nylon and acoustic, or rather a steel string and a nylon, don't worry about it. I'll try to make a video and I'll cover that. But anyway, the capo is basically used to change the key of a song. So let's say you're playing down here, but that's too low for your singing voice or for someone's singing voice, or you just want to play it higher up. You can put your capo anywhere along the neck. So what I'm doing is I'm playing the same chord, which is here it's an A minor. And the only thing I'm doing is putting the capo on and playing the A minor up here. So technically, it's no longer an A minor, it's really a D minor, but that's not what's important right now. What's important is that we just have an overview of what the capo is for. Another thing that I used it for a lot when I was just starting out, the lower frets here, like the first, second, third, they're a little bit wider than the ones up here. So if your fingers aren't used to doing the stretch, or you have smaller hands, it can help to sometimes put the capo on, let's say, the 5th fret, and then practice your chords up here because your fingers have less of a stretch here. So a C chord, for example, is a lot easier to do over here than down here. It's just less of a stretch. Obviously, at some point, you're going to need to practice without a capo and get used to the chord shapes with the full length of the fret. And I'll try to make a separate video on what frets are and all that. But basically, a fret is each one of these little boxes between the two little bars. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So those are your frets. Most guitars have a little marking, so the little dots, usually 3, 5, 7, 9, and 12. And then it kind of repeats after that. But I don't want to get too far into frets because this is about capos. So in summary, this is a capo. You put it wherever you'd like to change the pitch to. So the thing is, you can play the same chords with the capo on. So let's say, for an example, a song has the key, not the key, but the chords of just G to C. So you can follow the same chords if you're playing a song like that with a capo on anywhere. So the chords can stay the same for the song. It'll just be a higher pitch for your singing voice. So that's the main reason you use a capo, to kind of change the pitch. So for example, if you're watching a guitar lesson tutorial and it says to put a capo on the 7th fret, but you don't have a capo, you can still play that same song with no capo, just open. It doesn't affect the actual way that you play the song. Or if a song says to play it with a capo on the 5th fret, but you try doing that and you try to sing along and it's too high for you, move the capo down and use the same chords, because the capo is kind of acting as the 1st fret here, if that makes sense. So without a capo on, right here is where you kind of start counting your frets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you put a capo on, you're kind of ignoring what's behind it and you're focusing on what's in front of it. So if I were to play, if a song said to play an A minor and I had a capo on the 5th fret, I would just play an A minor chord and I would pretend that this is the 1st fret, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it doesn't really matter. You just have to be careful, because if a song says I guess I'm more thinking of tablature. If it said to play the first fret and you had a capo on here, obviously you wouldn't play the first fret. You would play the first fret relative to the capo. So what relative to the capo means is just using this as your starting point. So if a song says all chords are relative to the capo and you've got an A minor and a C, and you've got a capo on the 5th fret, you're going to play your A minor here and your C here. You're not going to play anything here because obviously it's not going to change because you got the capo on. So you're kind of ignoring this part. So you use your capo to change the key. So if you're playing down here and it's too low for you, put your capo higher up. The chords will still be the same shapes. You just need to have that capo on. If you don't need a capo, don't use a capo. It's kind of personal preference. Some songs in their original key, they'll use a capo. So if you want to play along with the original recording, you might need a capo. I think that about covers it. There's different types of capos. Some of them kind of squeeze it and just put it on top. And then others have different kind of mechanisms. But they all do the same thing. They all work the same way pretty much. So you're using it to change the pitch. Always remember that relative to the capo just means using the capo as your starting point. So this would be really fret 1, fret 2, fret 3, 4, 5 relative to the capo. So I hope that helps you out. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and I'll see you guys later.